Since the recent update patch, a lot of new information has been discovered about Big Run. We learned previously that this event is going to be a pretty big deal. In fact, it looks like it could be on par with the level of a Splatfest, with the whole plaza and scenery changing. You might have seen lots of mock-ups for how Big Run could look in the game, and now we have an even better idea for how it will actually work and what will go down when a Big Run finally makes it into the game. Keep in mind that data mine information can change at a future date, so keep your expectations in check as things could not happen, although it does seem pretty likely that a lot of this will make it into the game. Oatmeal Dome has shared some miscellaneous information on Big Run. Big Run has its own tutorial that you have to complete. There will be an employee handbook detailing the rules, 3 pages but subject to change. After a Big Run ends, you get some type of reward in the square. So it's really interesting that Big Run in itself is going to require its own separate tutorial. I just assumed that it was fairly close to the gameplay we'd come to expect, just played on the Turf War stages that we know and love. But if there's a tutorial for it and a handbook, then it sounds like it could be a little bit more complicated than we first thought. I still don't think it's going to be anything that'll be particularly hard to wrap our brains around, but this is really interesting to me. The fact that we'll be getting some kind of reward in the square after Big Run ends as well even more solidifies the fact that this will be pretty similar to a Splatfest. Now of course don't worry, it's not going to take over Splatfest, we will still get those as well, but it seems like this is just a Salmon Run version of that. It's hard to really see if it'll be comparable in scale, but with the plaza changing and so much else going on with this mode, it seems like it is going to be as big of a deal as Splatfests are. I'm also really curious what the rewards are going to be for this mode. It's really interesting to think about. In a separate tweet, Oatmeal Dome shared, "Here's what a Big Run announcement looks like in 1.2.0. What's shown on the TV is similar to a normal Salmon Run, but with a purple tint and the start plus end times of the Big Run listed. Note, because of how I loaded it, the stage and bonus gear are missing." Now this screen might not seem incredibly interesting, after all some people have mocked up really cool announcements on YouTube and such, but let's be honest, Nintendo's was probably never gonna look as cool as some of these fan-made ones. It's also really important to remember that this is unfinished. Nintendo is still doing work on this and will likely get a much better look at it when it actually releases, so yeah, definitely keep all of that in mind. First, Deep Cut will have some generic dialogue talking about the Big Run. The current version of the script only has placeholder dialogue, one line for Shiver which says Big Run announcement in Japanese, shown in the screenshot. Fry and Big Man have no placeholder dialogue. After their generic dialogue, Deep Cut will then have a unique conversation about the stage for the Big Run. None of this text has been added yet. This is where the script ends. As you can see, it is very unfinished. The data needs to be updated before a Big Run can start. I'm really excited to see how they're going to react to the Big Run announcement. Will they be scared and terrified, or will they be ready to take on the Salmonids? I think it's going to be a really unique angle. Obviously Splatfests are just a fun competition, everyone gets really exciting, there's lots of dancing and such, but Big Runs are not going to be like that at all. It's going to be a frightening event. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Are you looking forward to Big Run whenever it does eventually release, hopefully with the start of the next season? If you made it to the end, be sure to comment Splat Gang down below so I know you did. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing. I'm trying to get to 20k subscribers before the end of the year, so if you could, I'd really appreciate it.